Hi, and welcome to the International Outbreak Museum. I'm Hillary Booth.
And I'm June Bancroft. We're both epidemiologists.
And we're here to tell you a bit about how the Outbreak Museum was founded. We're here in the museum today. It was created by Dr. Bill Keene in 1993. He was an epidemiologist at the Oregon Public Health Division for over 23 years until his death. And he started this office for the purposes of educating people about the different vehicles that are associated with outbreaks of infectious disease. One of the things that he started with was a box of tampons from the Rely tampon outbreak of Staph aureus associated with toxic shock syndrome. That's one of the oldest exhibits in the Outbreak Museum. We wanted to make this video so you could get a closer shot at some of the outbreak exhibits in the museum. There are different sections in the museum. We see some of the same types of things over and over again. We have a section for Salmonella, for Shiga toxin-producing E. coli. We have a section dedicated specifically to all the raw milk outbreaks we've seen, and outbreaks associated with sprouts, which we call sprout breaks.
We do a lot of work in epidemiology where we don't solve the outbreak, so this museum highlights successes and a lot of lessons learned along the way. And Bill was world renowned for being an epidemiologist. He would fly to different countries to solve food safety problems. He worked for both the WHO and he was a consultant for the CDC on many of the outbreaks. And lots of the pictures in this room are photos that he took during outbreak investigations and trying to teach people different ways to investigate outbreaks. So he was pioneer in using the binomial probability statistic and background food consumption rates to identify food products and remove the need to do case control studies, which are very labor intensive. He also developed the shotgun questionnaire, which is a hypothesis generating questionnaire with over 400 items that you might find in a food store or at a restaurant to ask about strawberries at roadside stands and ask about almonds and nuts and nut butters and a lot of food items.
The shotgun style questionnaire is what led to the development of CDC's National Hypothesis Generating Questionnaire, which all 50 states use now during multi-state investigations and local investigations to be able to more standardize the approach of the way that we investigate outbreaks together from state to state and even county to county.
And pioneering using cases of Salmonella and S. Shiga toxin-producing E. coli to compare against cases that you're involved in your outbreak to see. It's called a case-case study. A lot more rapidly identifying items of interest in order to pursue for traceback, for trace forward, for additional questionnaires, design and development on a more focused questionnaire.
Yes, this binomial method and case-case comparison has really supplanted the first step of what we used to see in outbreak investigations as a case control study, which is much more labor intensive in terms of analysis and also recruitment of controls from the community.
And I would say one of Bill's strengths was his willingness to work as a team and collaborate with industry. A lot of times we are not a regulatory agency. We don't function the same way as, say, the Food and Drug Administration or the U.S. Department of Agriculture, and Bill would certainly reach out to industry itself and do some testing of the actual products, which has solved a lot of outbreaks in this museum.
One thing we like to note is that Bill became quite a craftsman. He developed a lot of the museum exhibits himself. You can see that there are melons hanging from the ceiling, and those were made out of paper mache with a printed picture of a melon over them, but they have the real stickers from the recalled cantaloupes that were part of the outbreak of Salmonella.
And same thing with the case of chicken over here and the different types of ground meat products.
So when we couldn't preserve the actual product that was recalled, Bill and sometimes others would take an art project to task and get us something for the museum to represent it so we could display it as part of the exhibit. And one of the things that hangs on the wall symbolically as part of an outbreak of E. coli 0157 in 2011 that was associated with strawberries grown in Oregon is a mounted deer. His name is Jacques and he's the mascot of the museum.
And Bill's personality really got people to send us exhibits here at the Oregon Health Authority. So some of these outbreaks, definitely Oregon had cases involved in it, and we were actively involved in these investigations. But there's lots of exhibits in the museum that were sent to us from other countries, other states, to support Bill's work creating this outbreak museum.
After his death, we remodeled the museum. Eventually, the museum has been turned into a nonprofit organization and a website, outbreakmuseum.com.
We want to thank you for visiting the International Outbreak Museum and hope you can visit our site online. These exhibits highlight changes that could have occurred in food safety to make your food more safe and contributed to the Food Safety Modernization Act that was put into place in 2011.
The Outbreak Museum website is still a living document and we're adding to it to this day. So if you're interested in sending us a write-up about your outbreak investigation, we would be interested in sending you an Outbreak Museum t-shirt.
And we do like physical exhibits as well.
Bonus points if you send us something that we can display in the museum.